Welcome to the Gransberry Chronicles weekly pick'em. It's week 5. We got a quarter of football out the way. Pause. I'm sad about that, but I'm happy about tonight. And I got my boy DJones with me on
What's
my
poppin'?
left. Well, you're on my
What's
right,
poppin'?
but technically my left, depending on
Something
which
like that.
way we want to roll with it. But
Yeah.
we don't know
We
where Big
20. We
Sexy
20.
at. Yeah, we
We
20
20.
tonight. If you can't tell who we pulling for in the AL, I don't know what to tell you, but get with
Mm.
the program. I had to bust I'm a bomb on you guys. And yes, we are going to talk about football, but we are never, ever unrepresenting those that are succeeding. And that would be the Stros right now, because if you want to win the AL, you must come through
Come
H
through
Town.
the H. The
So
H. H.
like I said, I took a pause because I am a little sad about, we already done had a quarter of football.
Stop thinking of it that way. Don't think of it that way. You got to enjoy the moment and stop thinking that
So
you
I
thinking in the
live
future
in
of the end, and you just got to live in the moment.
I
It's right
live in
now.
the moment,
It's
and
right
then I
now.
reflect. And as I
No,
reflect,
no,
um, I
no.
won't
Don't look. You
reflect on
looking
the
way too
game.
far ahead. You looking way too far ahead.
Look, I didn't put us at the end. I just,
Yeah.
want
But
the
your sadness is becoming because it's gonna end. It's gonna end, but it'll be back. But right now we're in week 5 and we building.
and week
We still
5
climbing.
is looking pretty interesting. We only have one undefeated team. And we only have one team that doesn't have a win. One is having a quarterback from the H, and the other is a team in the
In
H.
the age.
And
For sure.
there's nothing else happy to say about that moment. But so,
Hey,
you
it's
know,
great to me. It's great to
not
me.
at all.
Now,
The
now
highlight,
I am looking forward when it comes to them, but we can talk about that later.
much later. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so we can get going. Um, let's go ahead and let's talk about getting those games out the way. It's an all week 5. It's almost like it's that. So this goes into the love of the game, right? I feel like this is that part of the schedule where they said these are necessary matchups. They're not the best matchups, but they have to occur. And here we are. So
Well, it's
most
just
of
the
them
way
I would have put on
it's
the get out the way list, but that's not possible.
it's
So
just the way to say this is the way the schedule fell and how the matchups are. But we, like you said, when you take the 4-0 out and then the 0-1-3-1-1, whatever they are, um, you take them out, it's a lot of parity. It's a lot of 2-2, 3-1. So
correct.
you got a lot of that going on. But I agree with you. Some of these ain't that interesting, but they should be competitive.
So give them to me. Give me the get
All
out the
right.
ways.
So to get them out the way, picks this week. For the most part, we all picked the same teams. We all picked Green Bay over the Giants. We all picked the Chargers over Cleveland. We all picked the Vikings over Chicago. We all picked Detroit over New England. Miami over the Jets. Tampa Bay to beat Atlanta. Tennessee to beat the Commandos. 49ers to beat Carolina. And then the one pick where there's a solo coach picked Seattle over the Saints, and me and you went with the Saints. So that's to get them out the ways.
Yeah, I mean,
I was struggling on that one too.
I was gonna say I was
And
struggling on that, and I know it's a get them out the way, so I won't, hold us with
yeah,
that. But my
I'm with you
issue
because
was
we
like,
probably think the same thing. Yeah. We probably thinking the same thing. They put up 40 points last week. Gino couldn't do no wrong. Saints kind of Um, yeah, I went with the Saints just because they was at home. But
me too.
uh,
That
on the
was enough.
website, on the official Pick'em game, that may change come Sunday. What time is that game? 1:00, 12:00. So
You may change your
that
mind.
is possible. It's
Okay.
possible. I
Well, remember
doubt
you're
it, but
supposed
it's
to go
possible.
with your first mind because your
I
girl
typically
changed her
do.
mind before, and
Yeah.
that
I
took me
typically
out.
do. I typically do, but it was something I should have changed last week that I was on the fence and I didn't, and I should have. So we'll see. We'll see how it go.
Yeah, Gonzalez, I understand Atlanta's won 2 in a row. Um, The one thing is, I know Atlanta has all the hype that they get and flack they get for being the team that they are. But the other thing for me is that I'm just not that much of a Mariota trust factor in things.
Yeah.
So I would say I would expect Tampa's defense to be a little bit better. So that's the edge I'm going with,
Yeah, and they shouldn't play as bad as they played against Kansas City.
I mean,
So
right. You're talking about a team that plays at this level versus a team that plays just somewhere in the middle. Because I won't say
and it's
they're
a
at the
division game.
bottom. They
Yeah.
just end up losing games,
Yeah,
They be
and
in
it's a
the game.
division game, so they'll be there. And
Right.
then I think the loss of Patterson may hurt Atlanta as well. Um, that Cordell Patterson's, kind of Debo role where they can kind of do a lot of different
Do a lot
things.
of things.
Yeah.
So moving to our first game, obviously, and it's actually the first matchup of the week, and it's Denver versus Indy. And I know Indy has under their belt that they, beat Kansas City, but we talk about teams always having an off week. I still remember this team from week 1 being in, the H. And I don't think Denver has any identity right now. I know they lost a running back for the season, but I still don't believe that they're at their peak of how well the team will play together. I think each week is better for them as a team more than any other team right now. That's just my take. I mean, I know other teams have had changes, but for me, that under center, there's so much as a quote unquote from the ATL movie new in that organization that I just will give them the benefit of the doubt for some improvement. So I'm definitely giving this to Denver on the road. And Indy, I'll think about it again later, but right now I'm with them on the road.
Well, I think on this one, the main loss is going to be at the running back position, but not in Denver. It's in Indy.
That's
Taylor's
right.
still kind of hurt. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to play this week. He's banged up. I think Melvin Gordon will be able to step in
Correct.
pretty decent for Denver, and then they picked up Latavius Murray off of the practice squad in New Orleans.
Which was
So
odd that they didn't keep him.
Yes, that's odd that because they had him activated last week. They must have moved him back to the practice squad and then let him get snatched up, which is strange. But yeah, I think Denver at home on this one too. I'm with you. I just think Indy hasn't been consistent, and without a healthy Taylor, Matt Ryan can't do it by himself. He can't carry that team. So we'll go Denver on that.
What did Coach say?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see. What did Coach say?
Well,
I only jotted down his get him out the way. He said Denver as well.
Okay, so it's a sweep on Denver.
Yeah.
This next matchup is Buffalo versus Pittsburgh. I mean, honestly, we've already talked about we're easy picking with Buffalo unless there's like heavy thought about it. And then also, shout out to the Rook going in the game last week, trying to get with it in Pittsburgh. Tomlin is being very evasive about committing to moving away from Trubisky. And I understand all these coaches play some kind of antics with the press. And, I think a lot of times people forget that in order to say you're replacing a player, no matter what way you say it, you're saying something negative about the other player. It doesn't mean that they're bad. So there's a difference between being bad and something being negative. I mean, you could have a job, right? And then only one person can get the promotion. So the person that got the promotion was who they saw fit at the time. It doesn't mean you're doing bad in the role you have. They're not letting you go. So that's another way of just looking at it.
I think the comeback to that is in the NFL. Once you make that change, you don't go back to it. So it's like when you got that young guy. When you got the young guy that you just drafted in the first round, once you go to him, you can't flip flop. I mean, that was kind of the mistake I think Miami did when they had Tua and Fitz. when they wouldn't commit to him all the way, and then it was like Tua starting this week, Fitz starting this week, and it's like it's hard for that young guy to really get in the groove, and plus you
New
don't
York
want to
too.
expect the vet. Yeah, New York to you, right?
They did it with Daniel and Eli. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
we switched first game and never went back in
yeah.
Houston
Once you
when
switch, it's
Deshaun
it.
arrived. Now, we did switch when we had quote unquote veteran quarterbacks. Remember, we
Well,
went
not
back
for
and
yeah,
forth
that's
with
different.
Poyer
Yeah,
and,
that's
so
different, and that was injury too. But that's different. We're not
not
talking
every
about.
time. No, it wasn't.
Not every time, I agree, but I'm saying with a veteran is different because it's no expectations necessarily for that veteran like it is for a first round draft pick. That first round draft pick comes with expectations, and once you go to him, the people want him to perform. That was the beauty of Patrick Mahomes sitting all year, and when they went to him the following year, they went to him. You know what I mean? So that game when he got to start at the end of the season, it was because they was already done. But when they committed to him, it
Yeah, I
was all
think
his
probably
show.
always the best looking model of it will be Kansas City, right? They let Alex Smith do the job they needed him to do, and then
Well,
they moved on
I
from
ain't gonna
him.
give them the credit for it. Back in the day, the Oilers did that with Steve McNair. But
But we're not going to talk about the team in Tennessee. So
I
in
know
that,
it was more a McNair reference than it was them.
oh, okay,
So
okay, okay. I'm gonna let
yeah,
you slide on that.
yeah.
Our viewer Gonzalez just indicated that he saw an article indicating that the honeymoon is over in Carolina. And since they're on our get them out the way list, we don't really talk about them tonight. But I never got on the plane for the honeymoon with him in Carolina, so it's no biggie to me because I would have pulled to stop the wedding. So with
Is
that in
Sam? I want.
mind,
Is Sam Arnold coming back? Oh, he wasn't done for the year, was it?
I don't quote me, not
Yeah, we
sure.
have to check that out. I want
Yeah,
if he's coming back, I can definitely see that being the case. Like saying, okay, yeah, we've seen enough. Let's go back.
let's go
Go
back.
back to this dude. This dude we traded picks for. How about that?
It's and I wonder if it's just this idea that you know he's a first round pick, so we have to try to make it look as best because it's not a money thing,
No,
right?
it's Sam Arnold was a first round pick too. I think it's more Sam Arnold got hurt and he defaulted into the position. He got hurt in the preseason, so they really
Yeah,
didn't
that's
have to
true.
make a
But I'm
decision.
saying to give up and give it back. So that's all I meant.
Well, they
But I
seen
guess it's
enough.
not that hard to give up
It's
when it's not working.
exactly when you see it,
So
you're not getting what you need, and the defense playing hard. But go ahead, we can keep going.
so we got next up another division game, KC versus Vegas. And
Did we say the pick? We all picked Buffalo, right?
yeah,
So
we
yeah,
we we already
yeah,
discussed there's no reason to move on from Buffalo picks at
yeah.
this
Okay,
point.
okay, we're good. Okay, I'm sorry. I just
So
want to make it official. Okay,
it's official.
yeah.
So moving to KC and Vegas, division games are always quite interesting. I'm not really sure I would say that Vegas has enough to make this one interesting. They definitely got into the win column last week. And so that was a breath of fresh air for them. But I don't feel like they're connecting on enough cylinders when you have Mahomes playing basketball and scoring dunks in the end zone. And shout out to the TV crews for that game to catch that in pregame. They were playing basketball in the end zone with the football, and then to actually see the play happen, it puts a more intense perspective on that play in the sense that,
Sickening.
oh, he didn't get lucky and just do something. It's something they play around with, in the course of practice. So I just loved it anyway. I mean, you can't duplicate such things, but I did see a similar play from another football player. I cannot remember, and I meant to write it down, but I will have it in week 6, and that way people can go look up the video. It was a cool little spin, and I feel like that's something you get in a good salsa class too. So, yeah. Oh, Mello, thanks for the shout out about our hats. I stood in line
I appreciate you.
to get these hats. These are part of the Bun V collection, and when it came out, I got in line and
Oh, geez.
hooked us up. And it's funny because I got in line and I got out because I was like, well, don't worry about it. And I hate that because when I got back in line, I just missed out on the bobblehead. And I'm a little bit of a bobblehead junkie. And they had a Bun B bobblehead. So I don't have the Bun B bobblehead. But if any of your viewers or listeners would like to donate the Bun B bobblehead to me, I am available for that. Thanks. But Gonzalez, before we move on, says that he thinks KC was looking very dominant against Tampa and definitely doesn't give the Raiders a chance. I always give any team a chance in a division game because those are the teams that know you best. And so they know Mahomes, regardless of his receivers changing. They don't have the heel effect to worry about. I mean, because if nobody's on your team fast enough, you're not catching up to heel anyway. So, but, in the sense of that, they're pretty familiar with them, just as familiar as any other division rival would be. But yeah, the edge is still with KC.
KC here. KC. You can keep going. We said everything.
We're gonna hold that thought, Mello. I'm gonna hold that thought on you on the Texans. We're gonna hold that thought.
I'm with Mello.
So it's just I want to acknowledge I see your comment, but we're gonna hold that thought. And we're gonna move on to a guy from Texas under center, and we're gonna move on to Philly versus Arizona. Two Texas quarterbacks at that. One from Allen and one from North Shore. I had the distinct pleasure of seeing Murray play several times. I wasn't happy about the outcome because I wasn't cheering for Allen when he was playing, but I've definitely been a victim to him. But I think the victim on Sunday will be Arizona, and my pick is Philly. Will remain undefeated.
Yeah, Philly is playing really well right now. I'm going with Philly as well. Arizona just is not consistent enough for me right now. I mean, and the media is killing Murray. They just rolling with him not watching film or whatnot. But the team overall is just not playing consistent enough. I think they're missing Hop. Hollywood Brown is coming through for him when he can, but him alone is not enough. And I think until they get Hop back, that offense is still going to struggle. The running game is not what it was with the two-headed monster. I think Philly is just rolling right now. They have a good groove. They letting Jalen be Jalen. They running the ball well around him. AJ Brown is turning out to be, a godsend for Smith on the other side. So yeah, I'm going with Philly on this one. I think they stay undefeated.
Yeah, if they weren't such a weird vibe for me, I would catch a game. But Philly mean to their own fans, and so they a little different, and they on the road in Arizona. But since I'm going there for the big game in February, I'm good.
That ain't never stopped you before. Chill out, chillax. You went to LA like 5 times last year. I'm exaggerating, but it was more than once.
Well, three is three.
Three close.
Three is close enough in football terms. 2, so yeah, I mean, you're right. Okay, so I won't say that. I'll just say I want to see them play, and the problem is when they come to Houston to play. It's my nephew's last home game of the regular season. So I'm debating. I might skip that game since they'll be in the playoffs the following week. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see about that. All right. Mr. Gonzalez, our faithful listener and viewer, said he's going with the Cardinals.
He's a Cowboy fan.
He's a Cowboys fan.
He hoping Philly lose. He hoping Philly lose.
He hoping. Yeah, but keep that hope alive. But it won't be during that game. You're gonna need that hope when Philly play Dallas. All right. So before we move to our next game, I wanted to give a shout out to our week 4 winner. Now, look, we have been having a good time playing fantasy pick'em with the 21 squad that signed up. I'm 21, so 20. But we really are having a good time. We do not have a repeat number one yet. So we'll see if anyone will get back to number one or will WJ13 remain number one. Now, look, I'm always going to give the shout out with the name you use on fantasy. One, to protect your privacy, because you're playing in a private group and it's, not my place to say your full name on air. I thank you for playing, but if you want me to say your name, I will always give you that opportunity. But since he has agreed to be on next week, I will announce his name next week. He decided to take that offer, which we extend. When you win in a week, you can have an opportunity to come on. So maybe that'll be a motivation for some people to get in their picks. That's a week to week thing. So, in order to get into first place, he literally had to pick 15 of the games correctly. He only missed one game. And obviously, it was the game most people did not expect. So, he did pretty good. He still, like you said, he started off slow. We as in Derek and I, and not Big Sexy Coach Big Sexy, who is not here with us. He must have been too sexy today. We have consistently stayed right with the pack, and ironically enough, it's a 4-way tie for first place, and the tiebreakers are what's separating us. I'm in third overall, but I'm in first versus the host and co-host. So I would say that, I have been in first place with the host more than once. So I'm on the island right now. I'm a little happy about that because, I keep losing the tiebreakers. Every time Derek beat me, it was a tiebreaker. We had the same amount of points. So right now,
so
we don't have anyone. Right now. I'm sorry?
You got the tiebreaker right now, right? We still got the same points, right?
Yeah, we still got the same amount of points, but I'm holding the tiebreaker. And shout out to OSMG, and I can say his name, which is Corey Williams, the super agent. And he's holding in second place. Also, like I said, we're all tied, but due to tiebreakers, that's how we're falling in line tonight. So let's go ahead and move on to the second half of the games, and that would be Dallas versus LA Rams. And that game is in LA. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, it's still Rush. And, he had a decent win at home, which I don't think anyone didn't expect them to be able to beat the Commanders. Just didn't. I don't really know what's going on. I'm sorry?
I said we all picked them last week.
Correct. So Monday night, I didn't like the way the Rams looked on offense. And that's not discrediting the 49ers. And one thing I really didn't think about until Amber of On Alert from Dallas said in one of her posts, she stated, we own the Rams in the regular season. And had we thought about that before picking the game, it would have been a good time to pick the 49ers because
we talked about it though.
We did, and I didn't think, but I didn't really think about.
You thought they was gonna come with it because of that, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still not with Jimmy. I still think he has a cap. I think he'll play, but to me, he has a cap, and that's just what it is. And so unless y'all gave him some extra juice, I mean, I just ain't with it. And he's not playing in this game. So back to Dallas and the Rams. If Stafford can stand upright, which I didn't realize they've been having so many O-line issues in LA, but I'm gonna give the edge still to the Rams at home. They need to recover from that Monday football debacle and find a way to keep on top in their division. So D.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one to the Rams as well. Give them the edge. I just don't. I'm not gonna trust Rush on the road. I ain't trusting him before. I'm not gonna trust him right now, especially not with Aaron Donald and those guys in front of him. And and 5 out there as well. They didn't play well last week. I expect them to rebound this week at home. One thing that I noticed that's getting my attention with that offense is Stafford only looks for Cooper Kupp, and I'm sensing that Allen Robinson. Now I'm not inside. I don't have any connection. I'm sensing Allen Robinson is going to probably get frustrated if he have another week like he did last week, where he's not getting targets unless it's in the end zone and it's out of his reach, and he can't get the ball at all. So I don't see. I'm watching that marriage right now. I'm really, that's got my attention to see what happens there, especially considering we're a few weeks away from OBJ probably being ready to return, and most likely wanting to return to the Rams team. So I just sensed there was some frustration last week. So I'm gonna be watching that, but I think I'm still gonna pick the Rams to win this game this week.
I'm gonna just follow back up on Gonzalez is saying that we're overlooking the Dallas D. And I definitely would not say that.
Nah.
We're very aware of Lawrence and Parson. I think they'll have great games. I mean, they had excellent games week 1 and y'all still lost. And so because the problem is you still have to score points. If you keep the other team from scoring at all, that's one thing, but you're not going to blank the Rams, right?
I think the D is going to make this be a competitive or a watchable game. Yeah.
Right.
If it wasn't for that, then no, I don't think you have a shot. But yeah,
we're not overlooking it. It's just not enough to get you over the hump this week. Which will also help Dak get his job back. So I agree there may be some sacks, but sacks won't stop points going on the board. And I think Rush is going to get sacked a few times too. So I don't know about the pep in the step, but getting away from the Giants defense and the Commanders defense won't be anything trying to get away from just him. Okay. So
now I will echo that this game is going to probably come down to defense on both ends, on both sides. Yeah,
correct. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Turnover battle. If one of these defenses can score, if one of these defenses could get a turnover in the other red zone, all of those things are going to be huge in this game.
So next up, which is not much for conversation, but we're going to go back to Melo's comment from earlier. He said the Texans are progressing. So just so you know, this is not a Texan show, which is why I had said we'll get to it. So for those of you maybe listening or watching for the first time, this is not a Texan show. So in that retrospect, we spend time on the game, but there's not much of the team yet to really talk about. So until they get in the W column and play a complete game and not just have a quarter, there's not much to say. The progression would be we finally scored in the fourth quarter in week 4. We'll take that.
That's not true.
But that's not really progression to me. I mean, you should try to score every quarter. But that's a different story. Ironically enough, to be funny, I did put Houston on the list I gave you, but it was because, that used to be a guaranteed win on the schedule that you could hope. But Lawrence is playing really well. And we didn't get hardly any pressure on the Chargers this past week. And I don't see us getting that much pressure to Lawrence. I know Lawrence had a bad game last week. He had 4 turnovers by himself. But they were in the rain.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I say bad weather.
Bad weather. So it's funny to me at this point. So, Brandon decided to jump into the comments. Big Sexy is in the comments. He must having a cool off. And he decided to let us know that he thinks Jacksonville will win this week. And I just want you to know, just like our team, Brandon, you're still in last place. Okay. And that's about it. So, DJones.
So great. So you gave me a couple of things, and I try not to take too long because we don't need to talk about Texans that long. First, you talked about looking ahead, and I told you don't look so far ahead at the end of the season. the Houston Texans, I'm definitely looking ahead. I'm looking ahead to the draft. Yeah. And so that's where Melo comment comes into play. I'm totally
Against
fine going to see a game, which we went this past Sunday, to see an entertaining game and not necessarily a blowout that they lose. So the game gave me some entertainment. It gave me some feeling that I'm actually at an NFL game. However, we did not mess up our draft pick because we need a quarterback. And what we do not need is to have a mid-round, first-round pick and have to try to move up and package some picks, because we need all of those picks. We need all of those picks to make this team be better. They did look better than they were before. They were competitive. The running game looked outstanding. Well, not outstanding, but not the running game. But Pierce looks great. We did score in the fourth quarter, like you said, but Mills is who we know Mills to be, and he's our future backup quarterback. We need our future starting quarterback, so we need to keep our draft position while yet staying somewhat entertaining. So it's like, okay, I'm not watching a bad television show. So I see some progression.
But it's not going to win no Emmys this season.
Nah, we ain't trying to win an Emmy. No. We're just trying to get renewed for another season. And so when we come back next year, hopefully, guy in Alabama I've been watching, he could be on our team. But, somebody else, guy in OSU, some of these cats that we watching on Saturdays, that we need a high draft pick to get, that should be our focus. You know what I'm saying? Let the young guys develop, let them play, the Stingleys of the world, the number 5 Petrie of the world, I think is a bona fide star. Keep your eye on. But let those guys develop. Let Pierce, don't run Pierce too much. You know what I'm saying? All these cats that's mad because Rex Burkhead is getting run, let him run. We do not need to beat up 31 because we need him in the future. So that's all. I'm on my soapbox. Jacksonville win this game. They're the better team right now.
With that in mind, like I said, I was being funny. My pick will be Jacksonville with you guys. It's just, I laughed because I was like, I can't believe the one season we can't even say we'll beat Jacksonville. But
no, we can win this game. I hope we don't. They can win this
game. Speaking of that, if you're interested in some end zone tickets for the Titans matchup on October 30th, reach out to me. We have 2 tickets for sale. They are not a giveaway. They are for sale. And so it's probably going to be a Titans fan, or maybe somebody just wants to make it out to the game. Who knows? Let me know. Reach out to me, and we can square up on that, because that'll be PV homecoming weekend. And hopefully I'm feeling so awesome that I am still laying my head on my pillow right until the game starts. I'm sorry? Oh, heck no, not an entanglement. I'm talking about just a good time at PV homecoming, resting
PV homecoming, good time. Entanglement.
Not that kind of good time. I'm not Coach Big Sexy. No, sir.
I don't know,
no,
Queen. You still
no, he likes entanglements. I don't do entanglements. That is not what I meant.
I'm just saying, Queen. I'm just saying.
First of all,
on that hill is something else.
First of all, if that was the case, I'm in Vegas the week before, and everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well,
joking.
That's why we're not talking about Vegas.
Yeah, Coach Big Sexy, you are the entanglement for the 2022 season. You are it. Tag you it. Sometimes real life interferes, and I'm having a real life moment. My awesome DoorDash is at the door, and it's nice hot food, and I cannot leave it at the door. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it over to DJones Solo. He's gonna start you on his pick for the
so you want me
game
to
of the
week?
Me
to dance? What you want me to do? Go get your food.
I'm gonna go get my food and I'll be right back.
All right, so the game of the week this week, fellas, is Cincinnati at Baltimore. So Baltimore, as you know, has been playing pretty good, but inconsistent at times. We talked last week about Lamar Jackson and his style of play. Lamar still is Lamar. He's still dynamic. It's good to see him make plays in the passing game, but he also had some mistakes last week. Especially, I think he threw a pick in the end zone that you cannot have, especially in a close game with a conference opponent that can come back and get you later. Harbaugh was questioned about his decision, I believe, to go for it on a 4th down there with the tie game. The only thing that really could have hurt them at that time was the pick. So the pick did definitely come get them. I'm gonna get my help in here, coach coming through. So the only thing that could really hurt them was the pick, because if they didn't get that 4th down or didn't score right then they would be turning it over on downs inside their 5 with their defense. I still probably would have took the points that late in the game. You go for it earlier, but that late in the game, I think you still take the points and get the lead. And Cincinnati got as Coach said last week, they had a must-win situation. They got a great victory last week at home, but now they go back on the road. I think this game is going to probably go more in Baltimore's favor. So my pick is Baltimore, but I expect this to be a really good game. This is definitely our game of the week. This is the most intriguing matchup that we saw on the list this week. Coach, go ahead and give what you thinking. What's your 2 cents?
This is a tough one. Like I said last week, the Cincinnati game. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Yeah.
Cincinnati had a must-win game, I thought, because, like I said, the division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, and you don't know which Cleveland team you're going to get from week to week until Deshaun gets back. Baltimore has been playing real well, but like I said, their defense needs to shore up. And then you got Peters getting into it with the coach.
Forgot about that, yeah.
But then you got Burrow. I was seeing something different in Burrow. Cincinnati has.
Lost you.
So
Coach
BPat
showed up, huh?
He showed up
that game of the week.
Yeah. So I think from the aspect of that, I saw Cincinnati starting to get away from the shotgun. They're going more under center, which is allowing Burrow to see the defense. It's starting to go different things. Like I was looking at some on NFL Live where it said they went from 8% underneath to like 25%. And then I looked for it, and then they got to get Joe Mixon started. But with that being said, field goal game, I'm going with Justin Tucker. I'm going with the Baltimore. I almost said Baltimore Colts. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens on a field goal game and going out there, do their thing. And what you say, Queen? The Stadium Queen.
I definitely say Baltimore. They need a bounce back. Coaches can try to explain away everything possible, but I ain't feeling that explanation on going forward last week. And they're going to play it a little different this time. And not because you don't trust Lamar, right? So my point is not that you don't trust Lamar. It's just that wasn't necessary. So for me,
well, the points was more necessary at that late in the game, right? Yeah.
True, but you got none then. So
you missed what I said. I said the only thing that really could have hurt him was him throwing the pick in the end zone. If they would have turned it over, the defense they pinned inside the 5. Their offense was kind of struggling. So I can see it, but at that late in the game, if you got a tie game, you got to take those points. So, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, T.
At the end of the day, I'm still rolling with Lamar. I think like right now, him and Jalen are so far ahead in the MVP looks right now that it's just not even close. And it's so far ahead that when he made a pick, we weren't talking about it. Remember how before he would make a pick and they would start this whole analysis on the Lamar style of football. It's not good for football and it's not good for him. And I'm not talking about the money part. I'm talking about just it's not sustainable for good football under center. And everybody else just really made this about a coach's decision and not about anything about his game, which I'm totally supportive of. But again, I'm going with Baltimore. That's just what I feel. So I hate that I missed the whole discussion. And I don't know, Coach, why you I know you muted.
I said, and they're at home. They're at Baltimore.
Yes, they're at home.
Oh yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah. And so, Big Sexy, how was that entanglement tonight? Did you win?
Well, ain't no entanglement. So what I do every week, every fall league, I help out PayCal, high school and the girls volleyball team. So tonight was the last 2 games. So I was doing that. No entanglements. I don't have those.
You got it all sorted out? Okay. Okay.
Single mamas.
No.
Big
single
Sexy.
mamas taken care of.
King Big Sexy.
You can't. Yeah, no.
King Big Sexy.
BPat. And hey, while we at that, we represent the Astros tonight. This is by accident on my end. But hey, the West, my shirt came in last night. Hey, what's up?
So you want to know what's funny? Is D and I popped in on the show. And he was decked. And I said, "Say, dog, I'm wearing that hat." I had it like right next to me. But
I'm mad
to try to make it a little different, I put the bomber on. You remember when I bought the bomber at the day game?
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Come on, Willie, you almost there, so I can bust it out."
Hey, I'm representing.
We are definitely representing. We've had a good time tonight. I think I've hit everything I had to say about, just recap. Someone asked in the comments how to get in on the pick'em. That 21 is closed, but what I may consider is a weekly pick'em separate for those that want to play. But we need participation. I don't want to deal with a pick'em with 3 people picking games. So I'll put it up, see what we get, and go from there. But right now, the official pick'em is closed because the point spread is so far off. It's just not the same if you join in at this point, unless my 2 co-hosts want to override that. I'm open to it, but I'm not interested in it, if that makes sense. So
we can talk about it. They if it's only like 1 or 2 people, they just won't be in the runnings for the season, but they can probably win an individual week.
Okay, we'll consider that. So I'll reach out to those that made the comment, and just so October belongs to baseball. And so, next week we will definitely be adding a little time in to talk the playoffs, and not just because the Stros are in it, but because if you've been watching my show over the years or listening, you know that I love baseball, and it was my first love. Now football stole me, but baseball always has a place in my heart, and so it will be a part of the show for the month of October.
And then next week, the Astros actually play on Wednesday.
And there's entanglement Game number 1.
Game 1.
But I think it's at 1, right?
Game 2.
Is it 2? Okay.
It's gonna be game 2 because the game 1 is on Tuesday. Game 2 is gonna be on Wednesday. And the New York teams get the night games.
That's what I said. So it'll be a day game.
I'm off next week, so I ain't tripping.
First of all, I don't even know how that had anything to do with it. That just means you're gonna be tied up into something else.
No,
I thought teachers didn't get off. I thought teachers only got off in the summertime, huh?
Well, he ain't a teacher. He a PE coach.
Hold on, time out. I am a physical education teacher. I'm a physical education teacher. Don't ever call me a coach, just a coach.
Jump the jack.
Hold on, yeah. That's why you tripping. No. So no, we got.
And look,
we got a fall break next week. So hey,
Y'all got a fall break,
They
a
now
spring
added
break,
fall
a
break.
Christmas break.
Wednesday, yes.
Teachers better
Wednesday,
stop
Thursday.
It's not always
complaining.
on
Wednesday,
break.
Thursday, Friday.
That's the
Teachers
problem.
gotta stop complaining.
Wednesday, Wednesday,
I
Thursday,
wish I
Friday.
did get a fall break.
We got a fall break.
How
I
long
got
is
a
the fall
fall
break?
They
break,
they
a
put the
fall
fall break.
break, a
They
Christmas break, a spring break,
they put the
a
fall break
summer
in.
break.
They put the fall break in because of the COVID, and so they kept it. They kept it because they kept it going on.
You off
And
all
fall break.
week?
All
No,
week.
no. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It used to be all week. They cut the 2 days off. And then on top of that, we get a week off for November, and then we get the 2 weeks off in December. Yeah, that's
Did
So you're
school
not
just
helping
start?
your cause. you you're not
I'm,
helping your cause.
I ain't tripping.
I know. You're gonna be entangled.
I'm
So
being tangled in
we're
my
on
bed.
the
I'm
petition.
asleep.
I want to solicit votes. Should Coach Pat change his Twitter handle to Big Sexy?
It
Coach
ain't gonna
Big
happen.
Sexy.
It ain't gonna happen.
So, Brandon,
No.
what bet would you take that if you lost, you had to be Coach Big Sexy on social media for a week?
The picks
Not a
next
single
week.
bet. Can't pay me enough. Can't pay
Also,
me enough.
so you're not really about taking chances.
Nah.
Nope.
Bet your picks. Bet your picks next week.
Man, he not gonna ever do that because he already know. Are you even in?
Oh, hold on. Time. I picked the Jets and they won. That was my chance.
You had
That
two
was
this
the
week.
la-
You had two
You had
chances
two
this week,
chances.
didn't you?
I beat
You
the
picked-
Jets. I had the Jets and the Wilson.
You picked the 49ers.
49ers. 49ers defense is stout. I don't know. Y'all was tripping about that.
Okay.
I don't know
Sir,
what it was.
we never said their defense wasn't. We
Jimmy
already know
G.
what I'm tripping about.
Jimmy G.
Okay, let's keep it clear. And on that note, what I'm not gonna do is let my food get cold.
Yeah, I was
So,
about to say, she gotta eat.
Coach Big Sexy, tell the people where they can find you.
First of all, I'm not Coach Big Sexy. I'm Coach
Yes, you
BPat on whatever. Coach BPat on Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up.
So I want to make sure we be clear. Natasha is not harassing Coach.
She is
Okay.
harassing me.
The
I've
Gransberry is
abused.
not harassing the coach. The
Abused.
Stadium Queen is not harassing the coach. Those last two names I said, they're names I gave myself and asked you to
Abused.
call me by those names.
Abused.
The only reason I am
Abused.
calling him Coach Big Sexy is because that is the name he entered
Abused.
to play the fantasy
Hold on,
game.
you can look it up now.
So
It's
I want
not
to make
that.
sure.
You gave
What
it to
did I
yourself.
say it incorrectly? Is it Coach Big Sexy or Big Sexy Coach? Which way you want it? Because it includes Big Sexy no matter what.
Coach BPat is on there. Thank you.
So just so y'all know, I didn't attack him or get in his personal business. This is what he put on the public forum. And the people playing know that's what he put. And I got screenshots in case he changed his name. It
I
ain't never
did.
going away. I know you did. You changed it last week on the air, but that don't change what you entered for the other weeks.
Mhm.
Abuse.
So
Hey,
Mhm.
Gonzalez. No. Gonzalez.
Mhm.
So
why the
I just
Cowboys-
want to
that's
make
why the
sure that's
Cowboys
clear.
gonna
We're
lose.
not
That's why the
harassing
Cowboys gonna
Coach.
lose.
He
That's why
put
the
that
Cowboys
out
gonna
there. He put that
You know
out in
what
the
it is?
universe.
I did it as a joke. That's all.
And
Well,
I'm
we still
joking with
laughing.
you. I'm joking
We
with
still laughing.
Whatever, D.
Hold that. You gotta hold that, brother.
You gonna hold that all season because
Your food
you
is
ain't
cold.
the big
That's why
winner,
my food cold.
but you are Big Sexy.
You can tell our food, your food getting cold.
Your food is cold.
Oh, now we worried about my food, huh?
It's gonna be in the
Yeah.
freezer in a minute.
Oh, that's what she said. Okay, then.
Okay.
On that note, DJones.
You can find me on Instagram at DJones9804 and on Twitter, that boy DJones. Holla at your boy.
And as always, everybody, I am at the Gransberry on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. My TikTok's a little fun right now. I've been posting some good tips for traveling for football and sports, and some good throwbacks to trips to London, Denver, different things like that. So I would definitely love it if you join me over there. And next week, we again will have our first place winner from week 4, which is Dwaylen, who had an awesome week, picked 15 correctly out of 16 games. And then also, we will start our countdown discussion to the entire crew headed out to Vegas to see the stadium where the Texans will be playing. So we will be heading out there and having an awesome time. We have a big group going. I'm looking forward to it. We almost have a whole row at the game, so that's definitely something exciting, and we'll, like I said, we'll be talking about that. It'll be Coach Pat's road trip number 2, and so it takes 2 to tango. And on that note, we're gonna tango out of here. We're gonna tango out of here, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Catch you next time.
Go Astros.
Peace. And yes, go Stros.